Bonjour, everyone. Hi. Welcome to the Spiritual Roundtable. It's Wednesday afternoon, so it's all about the card draw, the group card draw. And I'm your host, Neshi Lokotz, and I just realized something. Welcome, everybody, to the show. Thank you for being here with me. I do have to change something, though. I want to make sure. Got a couple things I forgot to do. You just think that you have everything all put together. There we go. Sorry about that. That and I have the wrong glasses on. I've been busy working on the magazine, and so I had my computer glasses on. There. That's a little bit better. Thank you for waiting. Oh my goodness. It is Wednesday afternoon here in northwestern Wisconsin, and it's been a gorgeous day. It's like 45 degrees out. Yay. It almost feels like spring out there. So, welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome in the live chat. And those that'll be watching by the recorded show, thank you so much for being here with me, too. We have today's afternoon live stream. We started quite a while ago. I think it's going to be 2 years in May. In May, we've been doing this. And so, and it's kind of shifted and changed over time. But one thing that's remained the same is the card draw that I do and the intention for the card draw. And we're using, we continue to use this deck. That's the Sacred Spirit Reading Cards by Anna Stark. Right? And the intention for the card draw is all about my spiritual team connecting with them and asking them to show us what is the important energy that's flowing this week that will be helpful to us on our spiritual journey, understanding our soul contract, perhaps giving us those moments of clarity and aha, right? And so that is the intention for the card draw. And that is for the entire community, the entire group. So we don't do individual card draws here. We do other shows that have individual card draws, but not this particular one. So today's cards, wait till you see them, because I think we're on a theme. We're on a roll. I'm just going to stop and say hi to a few people here before we get started. I'm also testing out a couple of new things too. And so it might be a little different. You notice what's on the screen, right? We have stuff down in the corners and up in the corner. Yeah, I want to see what it looks like. We're doing a new design for the studio. So, yeah. So we'll see who's all here. Oh my goodness, look who's in the house. Janet Kwame's here. Hello, Janet. Good to have you here, lady. I'm glad you're taking a little time out and enjoying yourself and being with us today. Glad you're here. Marie's here too. Hello, Marie. Good to have you here too. Lisa's here. Hello, Lisa. Good to have you here, lady. And Marie says, crazy echo? Really? Okay. Let me do something about that, okay? I did move my mic, so maybe if I move it over to the side, it won't be as, because it was right there in front of me. We'll see how that goes. Let me know in the chat if you still hear that crazy echo, okay? And then I'll refresh the screen and we'll see how that goes. Thank you for letting me know, though, Marie. It's very helpful. Hey, Andrew. Good to have you here. Guy, good to have you here. Marie says, good now. Happy Wednesday. Yay. Good. Excellent. All right. Rochelle's here too. Hello, Rochelle. She says, Deb is here too. Hi, Deb. Good to have you here. She says, it's beautiful here and sunny. Again. Well, they're in Michigan. And literally that if we could snap a line between my house and Rochelle's house, we're on the same line. So our weather is very similar. Very similar. Thank you for that, Rochelle. Barbara's here too. Hello, Barbara. Good to have you here. And look who else is in the house. Rob's here too. Good to have you here, Rob. Hi, Janet. Yay. Okay, good. Thank you for letting me know, Janet. The echo. I did move my mic. It was more in front of me, and now I have it off to the side just a bit. Hi, Diana. She says, hi there. I always love watching your lives. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I love having you guys here with me. And so we're ready for a good conversation. Excellent. Thank you, Janet, for letting me know. And so the cards today, very interesting. We have 2 cards for today, and they're kind of intense. We'll put it that way. We'll see how you guys react to it, okay? And so our very, very first card. I got to do one thing here. Get my name up. There we go. All right. So here's the very first card. Emotional challenges during Mercury retrograde. Emotional challenges. It says express yourself clearly, resolve the issue. Okay. So resolve the issue. I'm trying to get my camera to focus. There we go. Resolve the issue. Emotional challenges. Express yourself clearly. Right. And just the card itself, right? There's an emotional, you can feel it emotionally, can't you? And if you take a closer look, the third eye area is lit up, right? You see that up at the top? See if I can get my camera to do. Almost looks though like the person is wearing a mask though, doesn't it? And yet again, it almost looks bird-like. And notice the tears, right? Dripping down the face into cupped hands. And so it almost looks like a pond or a lake, doesn't it? Mouth is open, bringing in chi, life force, air, oxygen. Yeah. It's kind of a powerful card, and before we get into what the author has to say about the card, I just want to talk just a little bit about the emotional challenges bit. Because, I don't know if you joined me last night for my weekly evening show, Communications from Home, but what we shared about last night was about mental and emotional impatience, right? And this card kind of dovetails with it. That's the feeling I have anyway. That emotion that sometimes goes unfelt, right? Especially when it's a strong emotion, and depending on where you're at, whether you're home or whether you're at work or perhaps in a like a bank or a hospital or a different environment than your home, right? That we tend to express our emotions differently in public than we do at home, right? So many of us from little on, we got really, really well trained in not showing our emotions, our tears, right? I can hear my dad saying to me, never let them see you cry. Well, especially, I had 4 brothers, and yeah. When they knew that they got to me, that was like poking at an open sore, and so, but we did the same thing to each other, but so my dad would say, well, just don't let them see you cry. Don't, you never, and my mother telling us that you never let anybody know how your extreme emotions, whether you're really, really sad or you're really, really happy. And the reason was for that way no one could hurt you, because they don't know what something means to you, right? And so, and I know Just because I'm Native American doesn't mean that other cultures don't have something similar. So that the expression of our emotions gets truncated, cut off, right? We're very good at catching those emotions when they're just about ready to break through, and then we say, nope. We take a deep breath and we push them back down, right? Or we push them or set them aside. I'll deal with that later. And chances are later doesn't come until there's the implosion or explosion, right? Yeah. So the expression of our emotions. And I don't know if you guys would agree with me or not, but as energy workers, as light workers, sometimes energy workers or light workers will gloss over something that's happening in their lives, and not go to the emotions of it, especially if they're deemed negative, right? And so some, not everybody, some will only pay attention to the expression when things are light and fluffy, but as humans, as two-leggeds, we have quite the range of emotions, don't we? Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's healthy to express all of our emotions in a healthy way. Everything from being sad and angry, even jealousy, to really joyful and happy and exuberant, right? I don't know why. My team keeps saying this word over and over, so I'm going to say it, so I'll stop. Jolly, to be jolly. That's not one of my words. I've written it, but I don't hardly ever use that word. But to be jolly, right? Yeah. So, this card is just asking us just to pause for a moment and um, be truthful with ourselves, right? Is that do I express all of my feelings? And if I do, is it a healthy expression, right? Because it's two different things, don't you think? Yeah. So I'm going to get caught up with you guys in the chat because I've asked you a whole bunch of questions and see what you have to say. Oh, look, who else is here? Christina's here too. Hello, Christina. Good to have you here. Rob is saying it's common in military culture. Crying is a weakness. Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think it's just the military culture because I think it covers many different areas. A lot of people in business will do the same thing, say the same thing. You never show a weakness, right? And that, especially for males, for men, most definitely. And and that's kind of a throwback too. I know a lot of guys that are much more comfortable in showing their emotions and their tears, but it also means that I'm also hanging out with a different kind of crowd too. So it's not your banker type people or I shouldn't say that. There's a few accountants and that sort of thing, right? With people who do more mental thought stuff in their 9 to 5, right? But you do have a point there, Rob. You do have a point there that it's in the culture that crying is a weakness. Now, I'm pretty familiar with the military culture. Between my dad and my brothers and my husband, I've been around military people most of my life. And it's true, they don't normally show that kind of strong emotion, right? Although pretty good friends who are in the military, especially at military funerals. Oh my gosh. That is, yeah, to see, there's nothing that will make me anyway get teared up is to watch a guy or a gal that's in their full military dress uniform at a funeral and they're crying, because it gets me, right here. and so yeah, that compassion. Of course, when you're an empath too, right? And that's part of the gift as an empath is to help with the expression of emotions. That's part of the gift. And I know some of us kind of shy away from that because it can be overwhelming, right? But once you kind of understand your gift and you learn how to do your protection, to know your boundaries, right? That it's a part of the gift to be able to help in the expression of emotions. Yeah. All emotions, not just the really, really sad ones and not just the really, really happy ones, but all of them. So, yeah. So that's the question. The question is do you feel that you have expressed your emotions, all your emotions? And if you have, do you feel that your expression is healthy? Right. Yeah. I think the ones that are difficult are the ones that are the emotions that are very extreme, right? Extremely angry or extremely sad, right? Even the extremely happy, because when you do that, you get a lot of looks, right? And so, yeah, and then the extreme, yeah. I had to learn how to do that. I had to rethink those belief systems and that the expression, right? And the expression. All right, so here we're going to talk a little bit about what the author has to say about this. So the emotional challenges: express yourself clearly and resolve the issue. She says that it's not uncommon for individuals to experience regular emotional challenges. A part of the human experience is to go through different stages of the emotional wheel. The wheel being from love, joy, and happiness to grief, sadness, and betrayal. Not all emotions can be conveyed at once, and therefore a process of understanding our current and past feelings to move forward with an issue or challenge is essential. Okay, so here's the thing, right? Is that we all have emotions. It's a part of our intuition. It comes from our inner child. And we all have it, every single one of us. And it's in the expression. The expression actually is a part of the understanding of it, right? Because sometimes it can take some time, some earth time, for everything to unfold and for you to really understand that event that brought out those kinds of emotions, right? And our emotions are a part of our GPS system. It helps us to to discern, is that a something safe? Is it unsafe? Or is that person somebody that I can trust or not trust? It's part of our GPS system. And whenever we push it down, repress it, suppress it, that's part of us that we tend to think or consider not trusting our intuition, right? That we don't trust ourselves. And part of that is because we're pushing it down or pushing it away, that we're not really feeling it. And in that expression of it, it helps us to understand. It's a part of that unfolding, right? So many times when I have a really strong emotion, whether it's anger, or fear, because right underneath the anger is usually fear. That's the base. Or the really, really extreme, why did that make me so happy? Because I want to remember that feeling, kind of thing. But I turn to my spiritual team and I'll ask, it's like, okay, so what's really going on here that I had such an extreme emotion that felt like anger? that felt like jealousy, that felt like blah, 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 X, Y, or Z. What was that really about? Right? Yeah. So it can be an indicator. It's kind of like when you're driving your car and one of those lights flash on, right? All right. So here is what else she has to say, Anna. She says, we cannot always be light and fluffy. We must acknowledge feelings such as anger or bitterness. Refusing to acknowledge personal anger, resentment, or mistreatment toward yourself will only leave you feeling depressed, with your self-worth being sacrificed just to please others. So right now, you are experiencing an emotional challenge. You may have been hurt by others, either physically or emotionally. Know that you have the resilience and the strength you need within to overcome this challenge in life. This is a temporary phase. You must acknowledge your emotions now if you'd like to move forward quickly. It's important to remember not to dwell on the events for too long, as they can keep you stuck and stagnant in life. Right? And I have to agree. It's a really, really important, critical, that we acknowledge our emotions, that we express them. The fine line there is actually feeling them and, spending some time with them, but not allowing the situation to take up residence. In other words, that to have it hanging out, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. Because when that happens, then we become resentful, and then we go into bitter, and it stalls your soul growth, right? So that's why it's my words. That's why I feel it's critical that we do the expression, the healthy expression of our emotions. And here's the thing, is that there's all kinds of tools for us to be able to do that. All kinds. Everything from stones and crystals, essential oils, guided meditations, hypnosis, tapping, to actual sit down with a therapist and work your stuff out, right? So we have all kinds of tools right at our fingertips. Yeah. The only thing that we have to do is actually step in that direction and say, I need help. I need help. All right. All right. I'm going to get caught up with you guys in the chat. Here we go. Barbara. She says, my family, very rigid about expressing emotions, never show. Let's see. Got to go to the next one. Never let the outsiders know how you feel or what's happening in the house. Oh, yes. What did my mother used to tell us? What's said in the house stays in the house. Yeah. Yeah. And so there's also that film of secrecy about things too, right? And also mistrust of other people. Yep. So I know what you speak of, Barb. Rochelle says, I have no problem expressing all of my emotions. Took a long time, but I did it. Well, good for you, Rochelle. Good for you. Yeah. And so, maybe if you don't mind sharing, what would be like your number one tip, your number one way of getting to where you are now? Because there's some people who are just starting out with that, right? So it might be helpful to share that number one, if you can, if you don't mind. So Barbara is saying, I had to learn therapy and spiritual journey. Yes, me too. Had a lot of good people on my spiritual team, both in the physical world and also in the spirit, to help me with that. Rob says, okay, fine. That's not nice. That's not nice. Maria says, I've acknowledged the anger, release it, and then it comes back. Guess I need to get a pill out. Yes, get one of those baton things, right? Yeah. Well, okay. Here is something that might be helpful, Marie, is that our emotion is first felt, of course, in our emotional body, right? And so when we do the healing and the releasing, that is the first body to work with, right? But it also affects all our other bodies. So it affects our mental body and our physical body and our spiritual body, right? And so from my cultural point of view, in order for us to have a complete healing of something, that we have to work it through all four bodies and all those layers, right? And here is the blessing in it, is that the creator won't give us anything more than we can handle. So even though it feels like it's overwhelming and I don't know if I can deal with this, if you didn't have the tools and the ability to heal that piece, it would never come to the surface. It'd be dormant until you were completely ready to deal with it. Yeah. So sometimes what we end up doing is pushing it away. Don't want to deal with that one yet. I don't want to. And that's our choice because we have free will. But when we don't go to those places and sit with it and start healing it, identifying it and healing it, it'll come back around in another form. It's literally the same thing, but it might be, in a different situation. It might have maybe different players in it, but it's the same situation. So you might want to check out, once you get the healing of the emotional body, it's like, all right, so what's the next one? Is it the mental? Is it the physical? And do the next layer. Yeah. So she says, Soul is having a party wanting to celebrate, and I yell and said, give me a second to to be angry. Yes. Yeah. To actually feel it, right? Express it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just give me a second, right? Hey, Mark's here too. Hello, Mark. Good to have you here. And what is Rob saying? Oh, didn't understand it. He always keeps me on my toes. Yeah. Okay. So here, these cards are really good. I like them, and because here's the rest of what the author has to say about emotional challenges. It says let's see. I'm sorry, got to back up just a little bit. Verbal confrontations are possible now. Attempt mediation to remove the emotional charge out of the conversation so that all parties can be heard and express themselves equally. Remember, you can only heal something that you choose to acknowledge. I think that's really important. Please seek a suitable professional that can help you unpack any emotional baggage that get to the real cause of the issue, the root. Here's the affirmation. It says, I acknowledge and express my emotions with ease and grace. I'm going to say it again. I acknowledge and express my emotions with ease and grace. Yeah. This is a very deep, multifaceted topic, right? Because, even though I'm saying, express it healthily, sometimes we have to look at why am I not expressing it? I know that my parents, they encouraged us to do it differently. But once you work through that, because you can only blame your parents so long, and once you get through that piece, and then you have to ask, why do I hold back? What is that? What is that? And then you have to kind of look at whatever that is. And so, for instance, for me, now I'm a triple fire. Okay. So it's quick to ignite. And so I had to learn how to wield that in a healthy way, right? So in the expression of anger, sometimes it would be brutal, and I could watch it happening in front of me. The words are coming out, the expressions are coming out, the body language is intense, and I'm watching the other person, and I'm thinking quietly to myself, oh my God, I'm decimating them, right? It's scorch and burn time. That was in my 20s and 30s. So I had to learn how to do that differently. I had to learn how to be able to say to my husband, I'm angry. Yes, I'm angry. And not feel like I have to hold it back because I'm afraid I'm going to hurt him emotionally or even mentally, right? And so that is taking responsibility for my triple fire gift and learning how to express it, to be true to myself and know that do my very best not to hurt the other person, but I have to be able to express it because I'd walk around for a long time. We're talking decades of not expressing it because I was afraid I was going to hurt somebody. Yeah. So if you're not expressing your emotions, another one is that you have to ask yourself the question is, why am I not? Why? Yeah. And go with that next step, right? Take a deeper look into it. Yeah. All right. Let's see. I'm going to catch up with you guys. Rob says, I'm sorry. I love you all. Well, we love you too, Rob. We do. Marie says, soul is having, oh, I already did that one. Sorry. And here's Rochelle. She's saying, gone to therapy for many, many years, plus 3 years in the School of Social Work. Examine your feelings and search what you really feel. Pray, meditate, read. Tell yourself positive things about yourself. Examine, go inward. Be gentle. Be gentle to yourself. Yeah. Thank you, Rochelle. And I'm going to add on there, rinse and repeat, right? Do it again. When something comes up, you just repeat that same thing, the same step, right? So thank you, Rochelle. That is so helpful. And I appreciate that. So helpful. Barbara said, I spent many years circling the same emotions. Yeah. That's where the frustration comes in too. I would get in situations that angered me and I'd act out with others like children and friends. Yeah. Yeah, and what Rochelle is saying is that, is to go deeper. It's about your work for yourself, right? And it's mining for gold is what I'm hearing. Mining for the gold, because it's alchemy. We're changing. We're shifting. We're understanding ourselves in a deeper way, and taking those emotions that are coming to the surface, right? Mining for the gold, go deeper and understand what's underneath them. What's the underlying energy underneath them? Because when with the anger, especially, many, many, many times underneath that is fear. And so the best question to ask yourself is, what am I afraid of? What am I afraid of? And then mine for the gold. That, I tell you what, my team is really good at those sayings today. Hey, Violet, good to have you here. I know it is a good card. It really does bring up quite the deep emotion, I think. Rob is saying it's Mongolian for my name is temperature. My anger does not calm down. Historically, it would not be something you wanted to hear. Oh, okay. Barbara says, express with ease and grace. While I really try and often feel I was wrong. Yeah. Yeah. So you go a little bit deeper, Barb. Go a little bit deeper. Even if it's a baby step, it's okay. It's okay. Take that baby step. And ask yourself, even if it happened 20 years ago and you're still carrying it around, right? Ask yourself, okay, I was very angry, still am very angry about it. But what am I afraid of underneath that? What's my fear around it? And that's the kicker is about being honest with yourself, right? Doesn't mean that you have to share it with anybody unless you want to. But to be honest with yourself, and what is it that you're really afraid of? Yeah, because sometimes we're trying to self-protect. So, if somebody is going to reject us or turn us away or abandon us or betray us, right? That we go into that fight or flight. Yeah. And so we try to self-protect. So maybe you start there. Start there. And take into consideration Rochelle's number one tip. Yeah. Yeah. Because if you didn't have the tools to heal it and to release it, to grow from it, you wouldn't have it in your life. It wouldn't be bubbling to the top at all. At all. So you can handle it. You can do it. You can heal it. Otherwise, it wouldn't be here. Okay, next card. Here we go. This is Awakened Spirit. Awakened Spirit. Desire to change. Right? Desire to change. Yeah, and looking at this card, the left arm is up, hand out. For most people, that's our non-dominant. That's the receiving hand, right? And taking a look almost like that bright light, like a laser beam is coming out of his mouth, right? Or her mouth. And so here we have awakened spirit, helping others, desire for change. Yeah, kind of rainbow lights too, I think. Sorta. Sorry, my house phone is ringing in the background. I forgot to turn off the ringer. And look in the background. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's almost like the mirror image in the back corner up there. Right? Awakened spirit, desire to change. Helping others. So what I know about when we do these card draws, the second card is supporting the message of the first. Okay. So the awakened being, the awakened spirit, the awakened spirit, helping others, desire to change. And wouldn't you say that most of us here at Star Nations, we've had and have, past and present, the desire for change, for growth. We're seeking, right, that spiritual growth, the information that will help us along our way. So we want to change. Even though sometimes while we're in that change, it's uncomfortable as heck. And we're wondering, when is it going to end? How am I going to get through this? And lamenting, right? And yet we desire the change. We want the soul growth. We realize that our soul, our spirit, is here to grow, to learn, to gain wisdom, right? And in order to do that, we have to experience the change. Too funny. Yeah. Barbara's saying, oh yeah. And it's a great card. I think so too. Rochelle is saying, oh my goodness, the card is potent. I know, right? That's what I said when we first got started. I was like, holy smokes. The energy is so powerful. It is. It is. And I would normally have started the show with, have you grounded? Because this information, just the images alone, are pretty intense. And I didn't ask you. I didn't ask you if you've been grounded yet today. Interesting. Rochelle didn't even remind us. So that's very interesting, don't you think? So maybe here's this. Is just check in with yourself. If you've grounded today, yay. And just check in with yourself and feeling the intensity of the cards today. And how does that feel for you? Okay. And if you didn't ground today, do the same thing. And just notice what it feels like to be feeling the energies coming from the cards when you're not grounded, when you're not centered, right? Because that's the way that we can, when we do that comparison, it can help us to remember to do our grounding and our centering. Because these are pretty intense cards. The images alone, right? The images alone. All right, so here's what the author has to say. She says, an awakened spirit is much like Alice in Wonderland. Once you have traveled down the rabbit hole, you can never go back to what you knew before. You become forever changed by your new experience. New information and experiences will change you at your very core. You become enlightened with sacred connection, resulting in physical, spiritual, and emotional changes. The awakened spirit. You may be feeling lost and confused about life, relationships, family, or social connections, including your employment. This is a time when making meaningful experiences is a priority, as you can no longer fathom wasting time on greedy, materialistic, or ego-based principles. The question of why comes to the forefront of almost every experience. You search for meaning and validity for your soul's experience here on earth. Now, I have to say, when I read that piece, because that last piece is what jumped out at me, is that we ask the why. That's part of being a seeker, isn't it? We're searching for that deeper meaning. And when we were sharing about the first card, how many questions did I ask, right? Asking yourself, what is this intense emotion? Why am I feeling so X, Y, or Z? Why am I feeling so angry? Why am I feeling so sad? What's really here? What's really underneath it? And going deeper, taking that even a baby step deeper into it. That's what the second card is about. The awakened spirit. Because on our path to the awakening, on our pathway to say, oh, there's more to life than going to work, sleeping, buying new shoes, that kind of stuff. The materialistic stuff. We do spend time in that. And then one day we realize that there's more. There's got to be more, right? And then we begin that quest, that vision quest, that paradisus, that journey. And so we're always asking for the deeper meaning. It's good because we are awakened beings. We can't go back to sleep. Even though there's times we probably want to, when we're right in the middle of an incident, an event that is meant for spiritual growth, and we think, this is too hard, this hurts too much, right? This is what we talked about last night. So asking the question why and going deeper. Right. Boy, this is a powerful card. I can feel it. It says, seen through the industrial machine of society, you become more aware of people's unhappiness and lack of passion, ethics, and integrity. At this moment, understanding who you are, the real you, beyond what you have been conditioned to believe by societal norms, family, school, or institutions, becomes a dominant feature in your life, which means we're questioning our belief system, right? What we believe and what we don't believe. Right now, your spirit seeks freedom. Confined by restrictive interactions and outdated ideals, it's important to understand the connection between your physical body and your spiritual self. This deep connection is the soul's expanding awareness into seeing a broader and bigger picture in life. Health challenges can occur now as you go through this phase of spiritual improvement. The affirmation, I'm free to follow the call of my heart with purpose, with love, and clarity. I'm going to say it again. I am free to follow the call of my heart with purpose, with love, and clarity. Okay. So here's the thing. Is in order to have that clarity, right, is that we have to be able to feel our emotions, express them, to release them. Right? Yeah. So it's a good thing. It really is. It really is good. And I can't say it often enough or loud enough, is that when we do our personal healing work, when we heal our emotional and mental traumas, it's no small thing. It's big medicine, big medicine when we do those things. Because yes, we do affect our personal soul growth. We do. But we also affect all those around us, all our relatives, not just our blood relatives, not just our ancestors or our descendants, but all of creation. Because we become this awakened being with compassion, a sense of purpose, right? And we are able to use our gifts to apply them. And remember, whenever we do that, we're allowing our soul to shine when we use our gifts. Yeah. All that comes from our emotions, expressing our emotions in a healthy way. Even our manifesting and creating comes from that. My gosh, it's huge. It's huge. All right. Now, you know that when I show the two cards together, it is a very impactful moment for many people when we do this piece. So I'm going to encourage you right now to, if you want to, it's up to you, if you want to do your grounding, if you haven't done that today, to do your grounding and to do your centering. Get your protective field up, right? We're going to just pause just for a moment for you to do that. And so as I'm doing this next explanation, you guys can do your grounding, okay? When we show the two cards together, we're taking in so much information. We're taking in the visual information from the cards. We've taken in the verbal communication, right? But there's also light language. There's the energy of it. And so when you see both of the cards together, my suggestion is that you bring your spiritual team, your whole team, the entire team, to you, because they're with us all the time, 24/7, 365, here all the time. But what we're doing is we're turning our attention to them and specifically asking them for assistance to help us take in the message, the information that's meant for us individually, right? In an optimal way, in an optimal amount, that we're in the receiving mode. We're in receiving, right? And then afterwards, when you sit to reflect on the show today or just your day, right? It's like you can ask your team, okay, so help me to understand whatever it is that you'd like them to help you with, the information that came from the cards. Because many times what happens is that we'll hear a word or a phrase and that sticks with us, right? So that really is meant for you to take a look at, to go that deeper, that next step. Okay? All right. So here we go. Here we go. Deep breath. Now we're going to bring both cards up. I'm going to take my name down and get it out of the way. Okay. All right. Here we go. We started out with emotional challenges. We went to the awakened spirit. And if you notice, emotional challenges is number 13 in the deck, and the awakened spirit is number 4. They're both 4 cards. 4. Depending on the numerology that you use or study. 4, from a Native American point of view, is like the 4 directions. It's about stability. It's about co-creation. Construct is probably a good word, a construct. And it's if you take them as the master number of 44, that's about the angels. Right? So emotional challenges, resolve the issue, awaken spirit, right? Desire to change. So if you desire the change and all that means for you, this is where we start. with the emotional challenges, healing those emotional traumas, going to the root, layer after layer, until you have that full healing in all of your bodies. And as an awakened being, an awakened spirit, you can use what you've learned, those life lessons that came from the healing, that wisdom that you gained, and you take it on what's called the red road, the good red road, and you're sharing it with your community, helping. You're in service to another, much like Rochelle did today. Right? It's a good one. It's a big one. It's a big one. Yikes. That was a lot of energy. All right. So, Rob is saying, I just found a way to stop the torrent of negative energy Sunday night. Now I'm homesick for the second day this week. Yeah, that happens. That happens. So, Rob, you know, you might want to do your own kind of scan, right? Starting at the top, working your way down, and sense, feel, or see if there's places that are, I don't want to say blocked, but kind of muddy. And then, ask your team to come in to help you to clear that, so that the energy can move and can flow. Because whatever it was the understanding of it, right, was a big step. It's a big step for you. And sometimes we just need that R&R after we go through something like that, to be kind to ourselves, right? And Carol says, I'm here too. Hello, Carol. Good to have you here. And Marie says, thank you. Just what I needed. You're welcome. You're really welcome. Yeah, and Carol, you can always do the replay, right? The recorded, so you can catch the first card, the information coming from the first card, because it's pretty big. It was pretty deep. Big medicine coming today. And so, yeah, that's true, Lisa. She says spiritual shifts can make you ill. Yes, they can. That's why I was suggesting that you do that scan, so that wherever it feels like it's not flowing as easily, life force energy, universal energy, is to have your team come in and help you to clean out whatever that is. Yeah. Could just be residual energies that just needs to get moved on. Yeah. Yeah. Rob is saying, I'm actually not thinking it's a block, though. No, it's not. Though I know it's a big one. I don't want to discuss. Oh, that's okay. You don't have to do that. All I'm saying is that, no, it doesn't feel like a block either, but it feels kind of thick. Kind of thick. Not quite muddy or murky, but it's thick. And so, just a little help to kind of move it through. And maybe, like I said, it could be residual energy, and something that, maybe bring even a more of an understanding of it, as you move that off and through. Yeah. All right. And Carol says, yes, the replay later. Yeah. All right. So in the conversation we had today, which was about some pretty big medicine stuff, whatever resonated with you, whether it was a word or a phrase or maybe the whole thing, right? My suggestion is to embrace it, and then watch, sense, feel, see how the energy is unfolding around you this week and where this information could be helpful, right? And if it didn't resonate with you, That's okay too. Don't worry about it. You can just let it go. Perhaps I always think that maybe you're a messenger and you know of someone that would enjoy the conversation and or is looking for information like this, and you can just send them the recorded video. Yeah, you could do that. And then you're done. You're done your deed, your good deed, right? You would be a good deed doer. That's what I call Paul. He's a good deed doer. All right. So tonight would have been Soul Connections with Polly Jo LeBay. Polly Jo's not feeling well. Actually, I shouldn't say that. She's doing okay. What happened is that they were working on the throat chakra in her school this weekend, and she is basically having almost like laryngitis, but she's not feeling ill. There's no fever or anything else with that. She just needs to rest her voice. And yeah. So, and tomorrow night is chakra sessions. As long as she's got a voice, she'll be there, and we'll let you guys know about that. Okay. Yeah. Oh, and Spiritual Mysteries of Life on Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That's with Connie Constance Watershear, or Shearwater, sorry. And so she will be with us for her show. Yeah. So hopefully you guys can join us for that. Yeah, so enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and we'll see you back here on Sunday afternoon for the Spiritual Roundtable, the dream interpretation part of the show. Okay, and that's in the private group, Star Nation's live stream shows private group, and we'll meet over there for the dream interpretation portion. Okay, all right, that's at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Bama Mina. That's Potawatomi for until we meet again. I love you guys.